know if women actually do fill this out and send it in, since their information, like their address and their phone number, is like just on a postcard?
Well, you know, they did in WHI. We could, we certainly wouldn't have to ask all that information. It was not an issue. I mean, this is how they did it, and people did mail it back in. Yeah. I don't, you know, really what we need from them is their phone number. Right. So it could just be first name and phone number. I mean, we can talk about that, what exactly to put on the postcard. Because the first contact you're going to make is by phone, and you know, you don't necessarily need their address. So, so that all is up for grabs, and we can change that a little bit. And that's part of why I wanted to get a draft out, so we could start kind of tinkering with it and make something that's going to work for everybody. So it's designed to be a self-mailer. Again, if you want to, you can certainly put it in an envelope and with a cover letter from your PI or however you want to do it, and have a little, you can even have a postcard as an envelope for women to mail back. That's really up to you.
And this again is probably getting ahead of the game, but if there was a website address here, could they send an email? Or
yeah.
Okay, so that would help sites if they could capture an email response.
Yeah, so there's three ways. I mean, they'll have the phone number on there, so they might say, I don't want to tinker with a postcard, I just want to call them. Their website address will be on there so they can email, because there will be a way, and Scott's going to do a demonstration, or Rebecca will do a demonstration later and show you that. That's still, it's also in the development phase, but she'll be able to click on, I'm interested in the site in this area, and then send an email or the postcard. So she'll have multiple ways to get back.
Some more questions. I just want to point out that our IRB will not let us send an open postcard like that. It has to be a closed one. So you might want to check with your IRB before you print them. Because it releases too much PHI.
So you think just with the
so we can't use
number?
that.
Right.
We have to have one that folds and they can seal it.
I'm sorry.
I don't even think we can do name and phone number. I think we can't do an open postcard at all.
We can't do an open postcard. Even if they're going to seal it? But it's sealed.
Yeah, so we need one that folds.
Yeah, they
Oh, for confidentiality.
Well, we can certainly redesign this. You know, if that's a pretty standard thing, we could redesign this so that this portion of it here, you know, take out that information. Sorry, it's the WHI one, but you know, so that this is kind of like you can fold it when they tear it. The whole thing would tear out and then fold over and mail back. We could probably do it that way. So that's something to talk about, you know, amongst you guys, because we want to design something obviously that'll work for everybody. And it might be that we don't have a, you know, that it just goes in an envelope and they have to, you know, return it by mail. But I think we could probably do something where they just fold, you know, I've seen those where you just fold it over and they can seal it, tie it with, or close with tape if they want to, or whatever. So, yeah, maybe we should just do that.
Self-tape, like the Netflix. If anyone gets Netflix.
Oh, they have a little tear out, yeah.
The whole thing is all complete. You use it and you put the CD and DVD back in and mail back. So that could work too.
We'll have to look into that. If they fold it over, yeah, we'll have to look into some options there. I know that this worked, you know, again, for all the sites all over the country, but things might have tightened up since then, and there's less, you know, they're more protective of those things. So again, you can, so some of these details are yet to be worked out, so we'll be talking about it at this meeting and in the next couple of weeks and get the final design down. So in addition to the brochure and the mailing, there's some supplemental methods, as we mentioned, the website. You're going to see that later, and that'll have additional information because obviously there's only so much you can put on a brochure, so there'll be more information there. All materials will always include the website address, so you can encourage women to go there to find out more information, and they'll be able to send their contact information through the website. We're also going to design just a flyer that you can modify. It will basically just be a that one, you know, won't come pre-printed. You'll just get the file and you can put your phone number wherever you want it, but something with the logo. And you can hang that around areas frequented by women if you think that'd be helpful, you know, in your university or at you know, beauty salons or doctor's offices or, you know, places where you think that women may be frequenting. You can hang out the post, you can hang out the flyers. You can also do community presentations. Again, these are more like supplemental methods because if you're doing this mailing, you know, you can reach hundreds of women, or if you do a presentation, you're obviously just touching small or, you know, meetings, small groups are moving at a time, but still that can be used to enhance your methods if that's something that would be helpful, or if you have, easy access to, there's going to be a health fair or something, you might want to set up and have your brochures out or something. It's a pretty short recruitment time, it's only a couple of months really, so the timing of the, again, I think brochures in the mail are going to be your best bet because there's not going to be a lot of time to go around and do presentations.
But then you're going to be recruiting for the next study. So it
that's
really
true. I mean, it kind of
slows
builds, and anything you kind of build, kind of the knowledge of the name and just kind of the branding of MS Flash. It doesn't hurt to do presentations, put it that way. It certainly can supplement your efforts. And then also ads and articles in newspapers or newsletters, if you have a local newsletter or a university newsletter, or something that goes to seniors in your area. So maybe too old, but something that goes to your target group. You go ahead and try to get articles placed in there. And then I would encourage anyone to to be in touch with your local media public relations department at your university because they can help you with stuff like that. They can help release, send out press releases when you start recruitment, things like that. And they're really good at help promoting studies for sites. The last thing I mentioned here, I think, is radio and TV ads. This is not something we're recommending, especially initially. We need to see how it goes with the brochures. If it turns out we're really having problems with recruitment, we might want to, go after some stronger methods or more expensive methods. But these are pretty expensive. It's not just the placement itself, but you've got to develop the scripts and the actual whatever it is that they're going to show. So, this is just to make you aware. This is another way, but we're not really recommending this. However, sometimes there are local lunchtime programs or programs on your local NPR or whatever where they're talking about women's health, and your PI may want to be able to go and get on that program, or someone can get on that program for free, and that's and talk about the study or talk about women's health and menopause or whatever. And that again, your media and public relations department may help you set up, and those kinds of things are fascinating things. So.
I promise I won't.
No, that's okay.
But we have a study going on in Boston where they have to have such success recruiting using the subway and putting ads in the subway. So those of you who have public transportation may want to consider, I don't know what the expense is like, but they had a great deal of success.
It's really expensive in Boston.
Is it expensive in Boston?
I think it's something like $5,000 per ad. But I mean, because people should see it.
Yeah. Well, we had one investigator say that their town needed a subway after they saw the recruiting in Boston. So.